views expressed on this program are those of the host, guest, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Welcome to the hit show Love Living Radio, Ignite Your Whole Being with Emily Perkins on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Do you love your life? Are you truly free in being your authentic self? In a stress-filled world full of distractions, Love Living Radio is a space to explore how mindful presence can steer you toward an ignited life. What does a life you really love look like? Emily shares her innermost vulnerabilities and breaks down barriers through conversations about sex and relationships, the magic of plant medicine, and so much more in order to share the power of living your life with love and loving the life you live. Now, here's your host. Hi, everybody. Feels like it's been a while. I feel like so much has happened in the past couple of weeks. It's crazy. Like so much. Mulligan and I, little hello from Mulligan, as Kat called him, the little croissant. He looks like a little croissant all curled up. We are coming to you today from Newport, Rhode Island, as usual. But it's so funny to think about the fact that that might change. Not might, it is going to change in just 2.5 weeks. So our next show is going to be the last one I'm going to be doing from Newport in a really long time, 4 months, because I hit the road and start traveling for all of April, May, June, and July. I will be in Croatia, Spain, Portugal, and South Africa. It's crazy. So I'm kind of in like planning mode, doing mode to try and prepare for this big transition, make sure that everything is all set up back here at home, and also transitioning off of an incredible, mind-blowing week, 2 weeks in Costa Rica after the Frequency of Love retreat, which was just beyond what I ever thought it could be. Just really pure magic. And really ignited the excitement that I have to start doing more of this work of the transformational group work. So it's funny because I was thinking about what I wanted to do today for a show, and I didn't even really think about it. I actually looked at the calendar and was like, oh my God, I have a show in 3 days. But it seemed really fluid as usual. You know, the episodes usually just kind of show up on their own. The titles, the subjects, even the guests, it just is very organic how they come up. And this one just felt like very synchronistic. A couple of days ago, one of my cousins sent me a text about my great aunt's passing, and I had forgotten that it was on the same day as International Women's Day, which was last Friday. And then I realized that March is Women's History Month. And to be honest, I was born, I think I came out of the womb a feminist. It was in my DNA, which is funny because it's not necessarily a trait that a lot of the women in my family have. They're strong, powerful, wonderful, grounded, intelligent, independent women. But the passion around feminism, I don't know if that was necessarily something that I was raised with. It was more something that I feel like I was born with. I ended up becoming a women's studies major in college, and was probably the highlight of my college career, was really diving into all different aspects of social studies around gender and gender equality and sexuality. And it's just something that's always fascinated me and I've had a passion for. But thinking about Women's History Month and thinking about National Women's Day and thinking about the women, like my great aunt who had passed away on International Women's Day. And so many of the other women who have influenced me and loved me and supported me and shown me the way. It seemed only natural that this episode would be about women. And I named it Feminine Rising, which you'll understand better at the end of the episode. But there is a movement happening. It's been happening where the discrepancies or the inequalities that we have kind of, to be honest, flown under the radar a little bit over the past decade, are starting to come to the surface, and women are starting to find their voice, like truly find their voice, including me. My God, I was thinking about this. It was almost a year ago that I started this radio show, which is crazy that it's been a year. And that was such a pivotal moment for me in finding my voice, in owning my voice. I think I'd always, not always, but I had found my voice throughout the past couple of years, but hadn't fully owned it, hadn't shared it. And this radio show was a huge launching off point for that. And, you know, thinking about the women that kind of supported me in that, my mom is definitely one of them. She supported me in every area of my life, my entire life, and especially over the past month when I was just having like a total freak out before Costa Rica about finances and details and logistics and all the things that were happening in my life all at once. And she was like, Em, come on, you've got this. No matter what, do the thing that you need to do to make it happen, because you know that doing this trip, being with more people, sharing yourself with the world, you know that that's where you need to go. So do whatever it needs to take, do whatever you need to do to make that happen. And it was exactly what I needed to hear. Her faith in me, her trust in me, and the way that she sees me as fearless was the reflection that I needed in order to really own it and step into it. And I think that that's the beauty of women supporting women. When we really show up for each other, oof, man. And that, you know, it's something I've said before on the show, that feminism is not about women over men. It's not about switching that power dynamic so that women have control instead of men. That's just playing inside of the same structure, right? Like it's still playing inside of that masculine power dynamic. Feminism is about equality. And I did this project in my senior year of college as a women's studies major around feminism. And it was basically a speech. And it was more than a speech because it was really interactive, but it was about talking about how, like, what do we consider a feminist? How do we relate to that word? And it's a really great question because there's a lot of stereotypes around the word feminism, feminist especially. Like I own that word now, but having to say I am a feminist, especially to men, like it's always piques my interest to see what their reaction is, their body response, their mental response, because the word feminist for a lot of people brings up images of like, like a bra burning 70s man-hating woman that might be a little bit butch. Like there are stereotypes about what that looks like. What is a feminist? And the intention behind this speech that I did, or this kind of interactive talk, was to realize that I had them basically raise their hand if, do you believe that it is wrong that 3 in 1, which to be honest, that statistic now is probably drastically different, that 3 in 1 women are sexually assaulted. Are you against that? Yes. Are you, do you believe that it's wrong that women are paid less than men? Yes. Do you believe that it's wrong that women have to take 50% more work in the household? Yes. Great. You agree to all of that? Guess what? You're a feminist. And it's so cool to watch how all of the stuff that we create around what a feminist is just kind of melts away when you realize that at the essence of what feminism and a feminist is just someone, not a woman, just a person who wants equality for women, gender equality. That's it. If we simplify it and allow feminism to just be that, it takes away all of the charge and the stigma and the stuff that we put on it and allows us a little bit more access to it, a little bit more access to lean into the parts that really just want to live in harmony, to live as equals. And it's something that I'm so crazy passionate about and get really, to me, it's so simple. Honestly, since I was a child, whether it's gender equality or racial equality, like it has just never made sense to me why our human race creates division and separation. You, me, better, worse, higher, lower. It just doesn't make sense to me. We're all human, no matter what color we are, no matter what sex we are, no matter what our sexual orientation is. No matter what, we're still just all humans. We're all the same. And most of us go through all the same stuff. So, in this very special episode, we are actually going to take on a couple callers. And I'm really excited about the people that are calling in because these are some of my ladies that are going to be sharing with us a little bit about like where they see the future going, what feminism means for them, and maybe some of the women that have influenced them, because this episode is about honoring. It's about honoring the women in our lives. It's about allowing a bridge for connection and for empowerment simply by speaking to each other. That's all it is. Because, well, okay, so last bit, and then we're going to take Maggie, the caller. But if you think about it, for me, this is opinion. I'll own it as opinion. But the greatest challenge and obstacle to gender equality, the greatest challenge to the feminist movement is not men. It's not. It's women. Ladies, I love you, but it's us. Because all of the stories and the stuff that we create as division, the both within ourselves, the I'm not enough, the I'm too weak, I'm not strong enough, I can't do that, and all of the competition that we create amongst each other. Oh, what is she wearing? Oh, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I can't be with her. All of the division and disempowerment that we create within ourselves and amongst each other is the thing that stops feminism. It's the thing that gets in the way of equality. It's not men. Because as soon as women unite, as soon as women understand and appreciate their own worth, this world gets lit on fire. Lit on fire. And that's why we've been on the bottom of the totem pole. That's why we've been suppressed, is because the feminine power is that strong. It is. It's crazy, crazy powerful, which is why it always has to be kept in check. Hormonal women are crazy. Angry women are crazy. No, we're just really powerful. Okay, so I can't wait to talk to Maggie. Maggie's my bestest best friend. Maggie!
Hey!
Hi, babe!
Hi, honey.
Thank you for calling in.
Absolutely. How are you? I was just listening. I've been on the other line for a minute just listening to your words. It's amazing.
Well, it's something that, you know that I've been passionate about my whole life, but it's something that I feel like we've shared a lot in over the past year. And I'm really curious and would love to have you share with everybody, like, What does it mean for you to be a woman in the world right now?
Like, I love being a woman in the world today. And I thought about this a lot. Like, I was like, because my whole life, I grew up with 3 brothers. I grew up sort of in the rat race of men, and I was just like, I want to be a man. I wish I was a man kind of thing. And in the last, 5 years, this position has, really switched for me. And I just love being a woman. Like, I feel like the things that have been offered to us, or the way that the world is right now, is the world is our oyster. And just a little bit about myself. I'm a female entrepreneur. I own a business that does millions of dollars in business every year, and I employ a bunch of women. That my sort of claim to fame, I guess, inside my circuit is just that all the women in my office make more than their male counterparts, than their partners. And I just love that. I love being a champion for women in this day and age. And I feel like all of the tools and the universe has sort of laid out this plan for us to be able to be our truest and fullest expressions of ourselves.
Yeah, I love that the universe has laid out a blueprint for us to be our truest and fullest selves. Yeah. Because over the past couple of years, but especially this year, you can see it everywhere in the media. And it's not just the media, you can see it in Mother Nature. The feminine energy is rising everywhere. And it is, the universe is handing us okay, here you go. Follow this little yellow brick road and let's see where you go.
And I feel like a lot of so my background, or my world, is very much an entrepreneurial world. I came from filmmaking and then teaching and then building a business, and I operate this business in this very man kind of dominated world. But I feel like everyone is ready and willing to accept the power of women, and also that with all the ways that you can make money, and I hate to bring it back to money, but it really is. I saw this meme the other day that was don't empower me, pay me. And it was yes, it's time for women to kind of take on, and other women may feel differently about this, but take on this role of I am capable, I'm capable of leading, I am capable of making money, I am capable of being the earner in my household. And I feel like all of the way that industry and entrepreneurial industry is going is more in the realm of the feminine, in the realm of thought and creativity and delicateness, as opposed to the way that business kind of was in the past, which was very hardwired. It's there's this new makeup of everything that is available to men as well, but also makes it extremely available to females, to the feminine, and also to women that want a work-life balance or want to run a family but also have a business.
Yeah, there's definitely a new makeup that's available. Yeah, it's really exciting. It's really, really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I also heard in what you were saying a little bit too of like owning that we're capable. Like I really believe that, that women owning their power, women owning their capability, women owning their own worth is the kind of like lock and key to this shift, to like really feminism in general. But it feels like the lock and key to us showing up as leaders in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And in my business, like I give the women in my business, quote unquote, I hope I can say this on the radio, but like shit for like, I want them to ask me for raises. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want them to come to me and own their worth. And that's when I like, and I empower them throughout the process, but I want them to come to me and be like, I am worth this much, and this is why. Instead of just like kind of sitting back and being okay with getting paid the same amount or getting treated a certain way, I guess. It's like I want to constantly empower the women that work for me to be the change that they want to see in their lives. Mm-hmm. And I wish I could invite them on the radio show now to hear what like they say about that. But I do have a specific story from my assistant who she sent me a meme the other day that said like, be careful hanging out with me. I might, what did it say? It said, be careful hanging out with me. I might make you believe that you can do anything. And I was like, oh my God, that's the best compliment that anyone could ever give me. Because like, that's what I want to do, like as a feminist, but also just like as a humanist. Like I want people to know their true worth and value in this world.
Yeah. Preach, woman, preach. I hear you. Oh,
yeah,
that's probably one of the many reasons why we're best friends.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Mags, thank you so much for coming on and chatting and for sharing. Like, it just feels like sharing what it's like for you to be a woman, but also sharing like how you empower other women and how you bring them forward into like being with the greatness of who they are. It's just so flippin' awesome. And it's literally like walking the walk of what I was talking about women holding hands, bringing each other forward and empowering each other rather than putting each other down. So I just totally acknowledge the work that you do in that. It's just, there's just nothing more powerful to me.
Yay! Thanks, Mama. Yes, we all have to like hold hands, like just empower each other, whether it's a man or a woman. Like ask them what their dream is and what is in the way of them achieving it. Because like that's where I feel like feminism is so on the rise. Is like just the curiosity in each person and boosting them up to achieve whatever like they believe is capable within themselves.
Yeah.
And building us women up, especially like taking a special care in women of like, what do you really want to do in this world?
Mm-hmm. What do you want to do in this world? It's a great question for all of you out there. What do you want to do in this world? Whoop, whoop.
I love you, babe.
I love you too. Thank you so much.
No problem. I can't wait to listen to the rest of the show.
I know Meredith is coming on in a few minutes, so she'll have some fun stuff to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Hi, Meredith. All
right. Love you, Mama. Thank you.
Bye. Love you so much.
Amazing. And honestly, if you guys are watching and listening, like if you got anything out of that, you like there's the offering is just in what it's like for women to talk about what's going on for them and what life is like for them and what they see and the power that they want to ignite in the world. You know, like if anything, if you walk away with just that today, my job is done. And Maggie and I have a really special relationship too. So I'm just kind of letting that sink in a little bit. How nice that moment was for us to be able to talk about this passion that we have for honestly connecting humanity more than anything. Okay. We're going to take a very quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have another wonderful, lovely lady calling in to talk about what it means for her and the future that she sees through this feminine rising. Okay. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back. Be right back.
Has your buzz for life buzzed off? Feeling ignored, invisible, and wondering if this is really all there is? The years go by faster as we gain momentum. You're halfway there. Are you gathering speed or puttering out? Hit your stride for the liberating half of life. Comfortable in your skin? You can do better than that. Tune in to Discovering You Again Radio every fourth Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific as host Susan Axelrod encourages listeners to decide what they want, get inspired to action, and face challenges head on. Host Susan Axelrod pulls no punches, encouraging you to grab the brass ring and soar. For more information about Susan, go to www.whatwillyourlegacybe.com.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Some jazzy music. Hey, everybody. I am Emily Perkins, and you're listening to Love Living Radio. And we are talking about the feminine rising. We're talking about what it's like to be a woman in the world right now and what it takes. You know, what does it take to really create and use this energy, this like force that's pulling us forward into a more feminine way of life, and really own it, lean into it, support each other in it. Things are shifting. We know that. So how are we going to embrace it? How are we going to learn from where we've been and move forward in a new way? Because that's what we're being asked. You know, that's the possibility, is to take what maybe hasn't worked in the past, competition, win-lose attitudes, better, worse attitudes, you know, like essentially like a shadow masculine. It's very shadow masculine. The golden masculine is all about protection and honor and safety. The shadow masculine, or the golden masculine, is about honor and safety and protection. And the shadow masculine is about well, there's a lot of aspects of the shadow masculine, but that competition and that greed and aggression is all aspects of the shadow masculine. And we're shifting away from that. Like we're shifting away from, Maggie was talking about it really beautifully in her own business practice, like we're seeing the power dynamics shift both within ourselves and in our work lives, in our relationships. The feminine aspects of connection and creativity and compassion are showing up everywhere. Workplaces are starting to have yoga, and they're starting to have nap times, and they're starting to, have support structures for people. That is all shifting into the feminine. So Maggie posed a really great question before we broke, and it was about what do you want to do with all of this? Where do you want to go from here? And we have another caller, another one of my dear friends, Meredith, and it's perfect timing because that's what we were going to talk about. So I would love to welcome Meredith. Hey, lady, you there?
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm
so excited.
Kind of over here.
Calling.
Yeah, of course.
Are you in Newport too?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I am. Are you right now?
I am. I'm actually in Newport for like a whole 2.5 weeks before I take off.
Perfect. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. You've been good?
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a crazy, crazy couple of months. Yeah. But I'm so excited to talk about this with you because it was funny. I was in the office the other day talking to Jen, who's another one of our good friends and an acupuncturist, and she'll be on the show too at some point. But we were chatting and she couldn't make it on tonight because she is working late. And she was like, why don't you call Meredith? And I was like, oh my God, I love that idea.
Yeah. Oh, Jen. She's so sweet.
I know. But it just also made sense because I was like, who else would I want to have on here to talk about women than a powerhouse like you? So do you want to tell people a little bit about what you do? And then we'll kind of jump into a question.
Sure. So I work with a company, doTERRA Essential Oils. That's the main thing that I do, although it's kind of hard, us kind of entrepreneur, maybe it's a woman thing, maybe it's not, where, there's a kind of a few different elements to what I do. doTERRA Essential Oils is a company I partner with, and what I do is empower people with natural health. My job is not to tell people what to do, it's to show them kind of a door that's maybe ajar for them, maybe is totally closed at the moment, maybe is wide open and they're just ready to walk through. And so I'm the person that sort of helps them on their journey to make different decisions in their life with natural tools like essential oils. So that's what I do. My background is in marketing and events. And so for anyone who's been in the marketing or PR or event world, you might know or feel the same way that you kind of never leave that world. And so I sort of integrate a lot of that naturally into what I do as well. So what I do is share a lot with groups, mostly of women or one-on-one, often with women, talking about natural health. And I teach yoga as well, and so that gets incorporated as well. And so just kind of have a wellness-based business that's focused on really supporting people through their journey of health and helping be kind of the usher, if you will, to their own journey.
Yeah, I love that because I just had this thought as you were saying that like the holistic way of being and wellness, which is becoming so popular and is like, thank God, becoming a little bit more of the norm, is in essence actually very feminine because it's collaborative and it's collective and it's about the whole. really actually feminine qualities. And there's also compassion woven into wellness, I think, also like a little bit more emphasis on mindfulness and our hearts and our whole being rather than just like pounding through a hard workout.
Yeah, definitely. And what's super interesting too is that, you know, in the industry I'm in, or specifically the company I partner with, it's mostly women. Like I was just last week at a leadership conference where there were 5,000 to 6,000 people, and I would say only a few hundred of those were probably men. So, like you said, like collaboration is truly, and community is truly the root of what I do and how I run my business every day. It's a community effort. It's a team effort, and it's super collaborative. And in that way, it's incredibly supportive, where I think some people might have, you know, an impression or maybe experience with groups of women not being supportive or not maybe being super community oriented. And I would beg to differ that often it's, you know, a super supportive environment where everyone wants to see the other person rise to where they know they can achieve and where they know that they are, but maybe haven't realized it for themselves yet. So it's a really interesting place to be, being your own, kind of like Maggie said, being your own business owner, but among other women that you collaborate with, and being like so incredibly supportive of them. And when they rise, you do too. And maybe that's a factor of being female. Maybe it's not, but I would say there's certainly a power to it that if it were, you know, not a group of 5,000 or 6,000 women, the dynamic and the energy and the feeling, and as you mentioned earlier in the show, like the power in that energy would be different.
Yeah. And it's funny because like working in the aesthetics world, as you were talking, this just kind of popped up when you said like sometimes people think about groups of women not working together. And there are like certain areas where I've experienced where there's like more cattiness and competition and gossip. And that's kind of like the shadow feminine side. I was talking a little bit about the shadow masculine before, and that's kind of a little bit more shadow feminine. Is that like that gossipy? But you can see that the areas where women do connect and do support one another and do collaborate are the places that thrive, you know, like both the individual and the whole.
Yes, I totally agree. And I feel like, speaking of kind of like future of feminism, like where is that going? I think there's kind of becoming this, I don't know, subconscious movement or feeling of like, that's what it takes, and that's what the world needs, and that is what is going to propel everybody forward, is for all of us to work together. And I feel like that is something that maybe it hasn't always been there, or like you said, you know, like we're both kind of saying maybe it's in some circles, it's a little bit different. Maybe, you know, in the wellness world, or the wellness world I'm in anyway, it's totally different. I mean, culture can be built in a number of ways, and I think it kind of, you know, starts from the top and trickles down, right? So, but I feel like kind of like looking into the future, I feel like there's just this vibe that women want to support each other. And I think that sort of cattiness, or like I need to tear you down to move myself forward, like I think that's kind of just going to go, like kind of going to go away, or like mostly go away. You know, there's always, not everyone's going to function the same ever, but I feel like that kind of old story of like, you know, all the limiting beliefs and all of the, like, if you're doing it, then I don't get some of that. Like, I think proof has been made into the pudding that there is enough to go around, and that when others that you collaborate with, work with, or even who might be competitors, when they achieve something, it opens that capacity for you to do the same for yourself, you know? So to me, it feels like, there's sort of like space opening, and people seeing that women seeing that there's space for all of us. We're all welcome.
Yes. There's space for all of us. And honestly, we need all of us. Like, not only is there space for all of us to sit at the table and to show up, like, we actually need everyone to be there. We need everyone to step into that space together. Yeah.
Yeah.
I so hear that. Mm-hmm. And it is like, I've noticed the shift too. Like, it's already happening. And it's funny because I do see that same possibility that the whole competitive catty gossip dynamic may fade. It'll always be there on some level, like the dark and the light will always show up together. But it feels like this movement that's happening over the past year is so much about like community and us coming together and like that, kind of pushing aside all of the ways that we create disconnect amongst each other. Because we know that if we keep doing that, we're going to stay stuck in the same damn place.
Yes. And that's not fun.
No.
I want to have some fun too.
Yeah. And that's, I love that. I love that you just said that, because I think that's, we think about concepts like feminism and women's rights and human rights in general. And it sometimes feels kind of heavy, and it sometimes feels kind of serious. And there's so much joy and excitement and possibility inside of this shift for women.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
you get to
absolutely.
dance around naked with your sisters if you want. Like, you get to go romp in the ocean. You get to go go to karaoke night with your girlfriends. There's so much possibility in connecting and allowing there to be joy and fun inside of this really cool shift.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think we have a great opportunity to kind of shape it into what it is we want. We've already made it clear we're not fitting in anybody's particular boxes, right? And so, why not make it what we want? And so I think that's kind of something I see moving forward too, is I'm seeing so many women I know just creating something that they want that's theirs. And that's business, and it's also life, and those two things blend for a lot of us. And I feel like, again, it's like when one person makes that kind of step and shows that that's possible, and I feel like you're certainly one of those people for me, and I know a number of people, and you're so amazing at bringing together women in groups that do feel inclusive and do feel, for the greater good of all. And I feel like it takes, just a few people to be doing that, to show people hey, we can do it this way if we want. Go ahead and do it your way too, So it's also the people you surround yourself with too.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had a little flashback from one of our first Who Run the World meetings, which, if you guys don't know what that is, it's a women's networking group that I started a while ago and have shamefully admit that I have not been very active with. But that's one of the ways that Meredith and I have connected. And I remember the feeling that I had in pretty much every meeting, but especially in those first couple of meetings where I was just like, oh my God, it was like something that I'd been craving for so long and didn't know I needed. That connection with other women.
I totally feel that way. I totally feel that way, and I feel like, and maybe this isn't it for you at all, but sometimes it's like, oh, this is allowed. You know what I mean? We're allowed to do this. We can all get together and just kind of it can be just loving and open and friendly and wonderful. That's amazing. There doesn't have to be an agenda with it. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just let's be together in a space. There are more and more becoming sort of spaces for that. But I totally feel like I feel you in that there's definitely just something special with, like, you know, everyone deciding they want to come together. Like, everyone has a reason they show up, you know, and you know that everyone who's there is there for the right reasons, which is so great to connect, because you don't, you know, like that, speaking of that group, like, it's just so nice to get together with people that you maybe don't know that well, and when you just put women in a room, like, magic happens. People
so
collaborate, people get to know each other, people get to know each other. I mean, like, that was, I don't want to say was, because it's still alive, but that has been such a powerful experience, I think, for a lot of people. And I hope that for everybody, like, I hope everyone has that group, whether it's close girlfriends or, in the case with us, some of us that knew each other well, some of us that didn't know anybody. And, like, to have that space offered and the invitation open is, I think, something invaluable.
Me too. And it's, like you said, it's so simple. It's really just about having that space. And then women usually, like, and I love that you said this a lot, you know, earlier about how, like, what women create. There's so many women creating in their lives. And that is the beauty of putting women in one space, is that they will just create whatever it is they need in that space. And it will be magic. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lady, thank you. Thank you for calling, and thanks for making the time and for sharing. That was just like a wisdom bomb. It was awesome.
Oh, so great to catch up with you. And I almost said see you, because I feel your energy right here with me. And if you were next to me, I know you'd be leaving me with the juiciest, most wonderful hug ever. So I'm receiving it already. And it was so great chatting with you. I miss you. And shout to Maggie, too. She was awesome. It was so great to hear from her virtually as well. And, I love you. Enjoy your endeavors.
I miss you. And I will chat about having you on the show, because we need to talk some essential oils also.
Would love it. Love.
All right, lady. Thank you so much. I love you. I miss you. And I will talk to you soon.
All right. Good night.
Bye. Oh my gosh. This is so fun. It's so fun. Oh, like, I don't know if you can tell, but this just lights me up. Like, talking to women, especially women that I love and admire and that inspire me and support me and love me. Oh my God, it's just like the most incredible gift. And it's such a great example of what's possible. You know, like, it's something that, you know, that thing that I was talking about, that need that got filled that I didn't even know I needed when I connected and got into a group with women. You know, I'm pretty sure that's inside of most women. It's inside of most people, honestly, like men, women, whatever, that desire to connect, to have a community, to have a tribe, to gather. It's like a human need. And when these moments, like what just happened on this show, where I get to just talk to some of the women that I love so much, I can feel it everywhere in my body right now. It fills up my cup in every possible way. And it is like the power and the sourcing and the resourcing that has the ability to really, like, shift our entire paradigm, to shift the way that we are with each other. Men, women, women and women, men and men. There's so much possibility in the air right now. And I loved what Maggie said. What do you want to do with it? How do you want to take that spark inside of you, that desire for connection and tribe? And how do you want to create from the feminine? Because creativity really is actually a feminine quality. It's not to say that men don't have it. Like, there's very clear distinctions that men and women both have masculine and feminine energy. We all have both. And I think that the possibility, especially inside of Women's History Month, is looking at where we've been, what we've learned. Who are some of the women that have really brought you forward and shaped the woman that you are? Maybe an example of a woman who's stood against the odds or taught you one really invaluable lesson. Maybe it's many women. But using the space of this month to really honor yourself, who's come before you and who's helped shape you. And then take a look, okay, where do I want to go? What do I want to do with this? What's the power and the passion that's like fizzling and bubbling inside of me that wants to just come out and be shared with the world? How do I want to connect? That's really one of my favorite questions, especially inside of this conversation. How do I want to connect? Is there a group that you want to start? Go for it. Awesome. You know, if you feel like, oh, but I don't have anything around me that's, you know, like a women's group, or there's no resource like that for me. Awesome. Start it. Start it. If you're craving something really special, and like in my head, I just saw women dancing. So if you're like craving some kind of a movement thing, awesome. Go do it. Find it. Create it. If you want to start a coaching practice, awesome. Create it. So I'm going to walk the walk and talk the talk right now. And one of the reasons why I also shared this episode and named it Feminine Rising is because I am officially launching and enrolling for Feminine Rising, which is a women's group coaching program. And this is not an ordinary group coaching program. It's not an ordinary coaching program. It is like so high vibe that I don't even sometimes know how to explain it, but I'm going to do my best to try. This is a space for a very intentional group of women. It is women who have already been doing the work, who have already had some form of coaching or therapy, preferably coaching, because it is very intentional in that we're starting from a certain point and launching forward. We're not starting from the very beginning. We're starting from a foundation that's already really solid. That's you knowing you. And okay, awesome. Where do you want to go? This is it's a really intentional group for women that is filled with a lot of accountability, and the accountability is there to really empower the thing that you want. So what is that thing that you long for? What is that like burning passion that you want? What's the thing or the life or the dream that has yet to be realized, but is living somewhere inside of you? This is what this group is for. It's about women coming together to support one another, to launch forward. Launch, not sonder, not like slowly walk. We are launching forward in this group. There's going to be a ton of support, a ton of love, a ton of resources, and a ton of empowerment. If there's something, a dream that you want, this is how to get it done. And you get the amazing support of a group of women. It is for only 6 women and women who have already started doing the work. I'm currently in a program that's similar, and I'm paying $1,200 a month for it. $1,200. It's a huge investment, and it's 100% worth it. 100% worth it. Mine is only this Feminine Rising is only going to be $400. That is a steal for the power that you're going to be getting from this group. I guarantee it. And I don't say that. The frequency of this group is cuckoo. So I'm officially enrolling. And if you're interested, if you're a woman and you are ready to really take your life to the next level, to actually go for the thing that's calling inside your heart, now is the time. Not tomorrow, not a year from now, right now. The feminine is rising. It's rising in you. It's rising in all of us. And the way forward is together. Together. So if If you're interested in Feminine Rising, you can email me at emily@lovelivingholistics.com. You can go to lovelivingholistics.com for any information on workshops and travel and services, whatever it is you're looking for, whatever kind of love and support, we have got you. I'm so grateful. So very grateful. Thank you for listening. And I wish you so much love in your life. Have a good night. Mwah.
Thank you for listening to Love Living Radio, Ignite Your Whole Being with Emily Perkins. Tune in every second and fourth Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on transformationtalkradio.com as Emily shares the power of living your life with love and loving the life you live. For more information or to listen to past shows, visit lovelivingholistics.com. That's lovelivingholistics.com. See you next time.